Hi, I am Ginger Richardson, president of the Scottsdale Gallery Association and owner of the Legacy Gallery, which has been on Main Street for 38 years. This is my 50th year of working in a gallery on Main Street. I've seen many changes over the years in downtown Scottsdale. I feel, being in business so long, I have tried everything out there available to get people to walk in the door. I am here to request an extra $50,000 for the Gallery Association to be used for advertising. We are given the money by the CDC to put on 6 gold palette art walks each year. This covers advertising and some entertainment, as you can see on the list. On the left-hand side, the galleries on Main Street realize we need to modernize our advertising, targeting Facebook, geofencing in northern Scottsdale resorts and special art events, and do additional Sirius radio. Our present budget has been for $75,000, and the listed items are there for that $75,000. We do 6 events targeting with the palette art walks, and what we would like to do is use this additional $50,000 so that we can bring in more people every Thursday night for Art Walk and not just 6 times a year. We would like to target an older client and not just the club age crowd that is filling our streets presently. We would like to continue to create a unique place to come to dinner and shop for fine art on Main Street in downtown Scottsdale. My businesses that we own also include Scottsdale Art Auction. And so between our gallery and our auction, we spend over $300,000 a year in advertising. Over the last 18 months, we have had a part-time social media person, and it has made a huge difference in our business. I would like to take some of the things that we have learned and integrate it into our advertising, which has made a big difference in my business. Much of the $1.5 million in all the different galleries in their spending in advertising is national advertising, getting people to come to Scottsdale and stay in our hotels. With this motion, I'm asking for a total of $125,000 from the CDC.
Thank you, Ginger. And next we have Bob Pechman.
Good evening, Mayor Borowski, council members. Name is Bob Pechman, address is on record. And just to clarify, I am not a member of the SGA board, a gallery owner. However, I did attend the TDC meeting where the SGA, the Gallery Association, asked for $125,000 but got turned down and got $75,000. The PR person who's going to do the advertising explained succinctly the $75,000 sounds like a lot of money, but when you distribute it over 6 isolated events, $10,000–15,000 is very hard to move the needle on any event, so that's why they're asking for more. I got to tell you that when I heard the TDC turn it down, I figured, hey, you know, they're being tight with the money, the bed tax money, they're being frugal, and I'm fiscally conservative, and that was great. Then later I find out that they had no problem giving $150,000 to the Day of the Dead event. LA producer comes here, gets $150,000, and then I find out that the city is actually partnering with them. And I'm saying, well, something's wrong here. You got the Arts District, it's an iconic brand that gets this kind of treatment. Out of state comes in, partners, gets more. For one thing, I'm glad they got this money, by the way, which means that the $75,000 limit is just an artificial barrier. It can easily be pierced So now we know that that 75,000 is artificial. They got 150. We asked for 125. We were denied. But what's the significance of all of this? Look, I just want to put this on the projector. Rachel Smetana wrote an email to me saying that the Data Dead meets all these elements of the strategic plan. Well, what's the most strategic plan that the city has? It's called the general plan, right? That supersedes and trumps all other plans. Policy ACC 2.5, maximize the potential of downtown's arts district as defined by the art galleries, related art businesses, Scottsdale Artist School, City Museum, Scottsdale Arts, Scottsdale Philharmonic, for generating economic activity. The move to withhold the extra funding when it's being justified fully definitely is not fitting the bill here to maximize this area. If anything, it's just trivializing it, like let's just throw a bone and we're done. And as Ginger mentioned, the galleries collectively spend about $1.5 million for national advertising to bring people here. In addition to that, the Gallery Association produced about 25,000 catalogs that we distributed to concierge, to the luxury resorts. This is not a handout, as I'm sure people will claim it is for the galleries. We want to be on even footing, not we, the SGA wants to be on even footing with the other out-of-state events that come in here. Just treat everybody evenly. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Excellent points. I'm going to make the motion right out of the gate to override that and increase the funding amount to the $125,000.
I'll second that.
And I think we're enthusiastic about this idea, but I know we have speakers. Councilwoman McCallum.
Thank you, Mayor. I was going to motion, so thank you for doing that, and thank you for allowing me to second it. I don't like overriding the TDC. I will tell you that right now. I think that all of our boards and commissions have a specific purpose. However, I do believe that watching how experienced Scottsdale has worked and had these Old Town meetings, your quarterly meetings with Old Town. I see how hard the Gallery Association is really working to keep tourism alive, supporting the parking structure in Old Town, which will support all the vendors, all the businesses. And so I think this is just a logical element to increase the funding, and hopefully you will see the benefits of that. And when you do see the benefits, please come back and tell us you have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Graham.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Smetana, when this came before the Tourism Development Commission in September, is that correct?
Yes, Councilman.
What was your recommendation to the Tourism Development Commission at that time?
Our specific we brought forward the request for $125,000 for these particular funding requests. We offer the option to fund it up to the amount requested, fund it an additional amount, bring it back. So we stay kind of neutral on these funding requests.
But do you give a recommendation though in your reports? Like staff give us like whenever a zoning case comes before council, staff recommends a course of action. Do you recommend a course of action?
You know, we did not in this case. So we brought forward the request for $125,000. It has been pointed out by some members of the Gallery Association that maybe we could have advocated more for the $125,000. It doesn't really, because the bulk of the funding request is for marketing. It's a little outside of our normal funding process. And so the Tourism Development Commission made the motion. We didn't recommend $75,000 either.
You just used the phrase, in this case, we didn't make a recommendation, but that implies you make a recommendation in other cases?
We do have, Mayor, members of council, we do have some events like the Prado del Sol and the Tour de Scottsdale that are considered co-produced. One of them recently is the Dios de los Muertos. Just a couple of years ago, that became a co-produced. It's got a lot of city staff sweat equity into it. And so we tend to, we advocated for that maybe a little more than we normally would for just a for-profit business funding request.
The applicant told the Tourism Commission that their budget was $126,000. Did they consider that during their deliberations when they cut it down to $75,000?
Mayor, members of council, usually the general guideline is 25% of their operating budget, so this is much more than what the guidelines suggest. So it's out of that, and it's a 51-year-old event in an important area of Old Town, so we get the distinction there.
I just pulled up the September 16th, the item packet that was presented by Steve Gigama, Tourism Development Manager, and funding availability and potential options. There are currently event development support funds available in the Tourism Development budget for event development. Pending TDC discussion, the following are options. Recommend bed tax funding up to $125,000 or another amount towards the ArtWalk Gold Palette event series. So it's that recommend bed tax funding. So did the tourism and did the tourism development, did you guys recommend the $125,000?
Mayor, members of council, you can see that there are three different options for them. So, one of their options was to recommend to City Council to fund up to $125,000.
I guess I just don't know where the $75,000 came from. Was that just from precedence?
Mayor, members of council, yes, that is part of the TDC's discussion was that they had been funded $75,000 in 24-25. There wasn't really a robust discussion at the Tourism Development Commission, so I can't speak too much to their thinking, but they...
Is there not much interest from the Tourism Development Commission in this project?
No, I think that everybody understands the value of the ArtWalk and the Gold Palette ArtWalk and the Gallery Association. And I think that the difference is, it's hard to speak for that public body for sure. They recommended $75,000 to City Council. We're here to take your direction on how you want to proceed.
Well, I'm going to enthusiastically support the motion to bump it up. I think in this fund, in this pot of this fund, we have a lot of carryover money to begin with. Taxpayers pay this money for this particular purpose. A homegrown industry, an industry and an event in an area that voters told us repeatedly in our general plans that this is incredibly important to them. And so I hope in the future, council doesn't have to intervene in these kinds of things, and that they can, maybe the applicants can be, taken a little more seriously. So thank you.
Thank you. I see the city attorney would like to speak.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, if you would consider amending your motion to include the resolution number and the contract number, that would be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. So I'll amend my motion to adopt resolution number 13520, authorizing the one-year agreement number 2025-166-COS with the Scottsdale Gallery Association to produce the Scottsdale Gold Palette ArtWalk series and funding up to $125,000. I'm like, is this a trick? Are you trying to get me to say the wrong amount? From the portion of the FY 2025-26 Tourism Development Fund that is allocated toward event retention and development.
I'll second that.
We have a second.
Madam Mayor, if I just might, is that 125 acceptable? Understanding that that's $125,000.
Really?
I don't know. Apparently, you had to say number
$125,000.
13520. So just want to make sure there's no issues.
I'm sure that's good.
Honorable Mayor and members of the council, I'm not sure if I'm being the one that's being asked, but yes, that's your decision to make.
Okay. Put some zeros on the end of that. How many zeros do you want? Just kidding. Councilwoman DeBasquez.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We talked about this at the last meeting, some of the feedback from the merchants in Old Town derived from the mixer. Lots of folks saying that they did not have a good summer, that business has been down. The Keene survey, 150 merchants said that they would like to see the city of Scottsdale targeting North Scottsdale more, targeting more of the locals to bring them from the north into the south or Paradise Valley, some of these areas. And what I like about the presentation from Ms. Richardson is the idea that the additional funding would be used for those things that the merchants have been asking for. So I think that's a nice dovetail there that comes together. And then also the point that the general plan specifically calls out promoting the Arts District and says that it's key to the general plan and our tourism brand, promoting the Arts District. I like the idea of supporting local businesses versus out-of-state businesses. And so one of the things that I did notice in the documentation was the discussion about the partnering with a few events. And so you mentioned the Parada, you mentioned the Dia de los Muertos. I don't know if the Arts District would have any interest in partnering with the city of Scottsdale. How does one become a partner? Is that something that the Arts District would want to do? And so is that a process? Is that something that we can talk about? Maybe that's an opportunity here as well. But I'm an enthusiastic supporter of the 125 or 125,000, however we prefer to say it. So thank you.
All right, I don't see any more questions or comments, so let's go ahead and vote on this resolution. All right, congratulations. Thanks for coming to talk to us.